Hello and welcome to today's video. In this video, I will be discussing and demonstrating the new sourcing user interface known as guided sourcing. Guided sourcing was released in Q4 of 2020 and was designed to provide an efficient and intuitive user experience for all your sourcing events. With the streamlined approach to guided sourcing, users will see a reduction in time to create their sourcing events, as well as improved overall satisfaction and adoption of the tool. During this video, I'll be walking through the end-to-end process of creating, publishing, and awarding a sourcing event within the guided sourcing user interface. Let's begin. To initiate our guided sourcing event, we will scroll up to Create and choose Guided Sourcing Event. When we open our guided sourcing event, we will be brought to the Create Event screen. Here we can choose how we would like to set up the event, whether it be from a template, from a smart import from Excel, or by copying from an existing event, as well as assigning a name, event type, and description. The second section offers event information, such as commodity, region, department, currency, and baseline spend. And ultimately, our third section is where we can choose our template. I will go ahead and fill out our event information now. Here we can see that we would like to create from our template. We've given it a name, event type, description, assigned a commodity and region, and also chose our template. We are now ready to create our guided sourcing event. Our guided sourcing event is now created, and we are now on the content screen where we can enter the content related to our event. In the upper left-hand corner, we can see our event name, event type, the current status of the event, as well as the ID. Next to the title is an icon of two little people denoting the team. This is where we can add or delete users and/or groups to our team for this event. So for example, if I needed to update my surrogate bidders and I needed to add a specific member, I have a drop-down that allows me to search for specific drop-down options, or I can type in the name of a member that I would like to add. I will add my member and choose Save, and I was now easily able to update my team. I will close this out, and also up on the upper right-hand portion we have the ability to publish, save and close, and we have our More Actions 3 dots option here. When we choose More Actions, we are provided with a list of opportunities where we can either import content from Excel, copy or delete the event, download the event summary or view the audit log, set the event rules, or pull content from our content library. Here we will need to set the event rules. For this event, I would like to enable multi-round bidding, but we also have the ability to select or deselect other general options and formula options. The event rules also shows us the event content order for our event. I will be running a multi-round bidding event, so I will leave the rules as is and choose Save. As I scroll down, I'll notice that my content screen is set up very similarly to my Create Event screen, and that it is broken up in sections, and I have the ability to scroll down on a singular page rather than navigate to alternative pages to fill out information. For this portion, I'll now add some content from the content library to our event. To do so, I'll scroll down to the Items that need quotes area, and I'll choose the option Add. When I choose the option to add, I can either add a section, item, lot, pull content from my material master, or items from my library. When I choose items from my library, here I will have the ability to pull items that live directly within my sourcing library or content that was entered in a past event. I'll choose to pull items from my sourcing library, and I'll navigate to the section where my items live. Excellent, I found what I'm looking for, and I can either click the circle next to my content document, which would select the entire document, or I can click directly on the title, which will take me into the specific line items or content of the content document, where I can choose individual line items. For this event, I'll choose 5 line items and I'll choose Select. This is now copying the event from my sourcing library into my event. And if I scroll back down, I can see my items that need quotes are automatically set. One of the key enhancements of guided sourcing is the ability for bulk editing capabilities. To demonstrate these bulk editing capabilities, for example, one of the terms of our line items is category. Let's suppose that for this event, category is not a system term that we need, so we have the ability to click the 3 dots next to that system term and choose delete term for all items. I'll confirm my deletion, and this has now deleted that system term for all my items. I also have the ability to edit the line items directly themselves. For example, if I needed to change a specific attribute of all 5 of these line items, I could select all and choose Edit Terms. When I choose Edit Terms, I have the ability to mass edit. I can mass edit either general attributes or term attributes. General attributes typically consist of the commodity and region, and term attributes consist of the specific terms associated to the line items. For example, if I needed a standard quantity for all these line items, I could choose quantity, enter my new amount, choose my unit of measure, and I have the ability to set a few event rules for each line item as well, and I can apply this. My my quantity has now updated for each of these line items, and I had the ability to do that via mass editing rather than going through line by line and making those updates. I'll also add a question by choosing add, and then I can choose again section, requirement, or question, and again pull for content from my library if I'd like. To add my question, I'll add perfect, and I can also update my response type. And for this question, it will be a yes/no question. I'll add my question, and now I have a question and my content that needs bidding. I'll now go ahead and add my suppliers. We can see that based upon the content that I've added that needs bidding, the system has intelligently recommended suppliers that live within our database. I have the ability to either add suppliers manually or view the intelligent supplier recommendations that the system suggests. If I would like to view and add any of those suppliers that the system suggests, I can click on View Recommended Suppliers and scroll down through the ones that the system recommends and ultimately add them to my event if I would like. I'll add one supplier from the intelligent recommendations, and I'll also view and add my suppliers manually as well. Within the suppliers page, users will have a couple of different capabilities. They will first be able to either search for a supplier using a keyword or another filter of their choosing, and they will also have designated filters along the left side. Depending on if your organization owns and has implemented Supplier Lifecycle and Performance, also known as SLP, users may see filters on the left side pertaining to qualification status, including qualification started, in qualification, qualified, as well as a variety of other choices. Users will also be able to filter suppliers based on preferred level, or if the supplier is associated to a specific commodity, region, or department. These filters can be selected or deselected to ultimately widen or narrow your supplier search results. For this event, I will remove the commodity and region filters that I have tied to my supplier search whenever I originally selected them during my Create Event screen. This will open up the amount of suppliers that I will be able to choose from, and I will search for my suppliers that I would like to have within this event. To search, I'll come up to the top, and I will begin typing my suppliers. I've selected my first 2 that I would like to participate within this event, and with guided sourcing compared to classic sourcing, guided sourcing does not require the user to select the option Add another participant once they've already selected a supplier. The system is intelligent enough to recognize that 2 suppliers have been chosen, and the user can then search for their other suppliers necessary for the event. My other supplier results have appeared, and I will select 2 additional suppliers. I now have 4 suppliers chosen, and I will add them to my event. Here we can see our suppliers, their contact names, as well as the items that they're invited to bid on. Users can select a supplier's name to gather more information about that supplier within the sourcing event. For example, if I click on one of my suppliers, I open a mini 360 profile which provides me with quick information pertaining to the supplier, such as information, contacts, any qualifications or certificates that the supplier may own. In addition to viewing quick information pertaining to a supplier, we also have the ability to update the contact. For example, the main contact for a supplier may not always be the one that will be responding to the event. If we would like to update the supplier contact, we can click on the contact name and we will see the contacts that are available for that supplier. For example, John Atlantic is selected, but he may not be the one that is responding to the event, so we will select another participant. This is how we can enable supplier response teams as well, or just simply change the contact who will be responding. I can apply this, and my contact has now been updated. I can also see the items that they are invited to bid on, and I am almost ready to publish my sourcing event. Before publishing my guided sourcing event, there are 2 other features within the sourcing page that I'd like to show. The first of which is the Enable Now option located on the right side of the screen. Enable Now provides users with documentation, guided tours, and learning capabilities so that users can search for and find any documentation or information they need pertaining to their sourcing event. The documentation also provides quick links to areas within the guided sourcing event to provide users with a visual of where they would need to go. Also within the sourcing homepage is the messages pop-up located in the bottom right-hand corner. The messages pop-up is always available and provides a user with the ability to message internally or externally with stakeholders. For example, if I wanted to message my contacts that are available for the sourcing event, I can search for their contact name and then ultimately add them to a message for the event. I'll add them all now. I've now added my contacts and I'll create my message. I've now sent my message to the individual contacts for these suppliers. They will all receive it individually and have the ability to respond back to my message if they would like. I will now go ahead and publish my sourcing event for my multi-round bidding event in which I can add or remove suppliers and or content from round to round within the same event and not having to create a new event each round. This will provide me with the most competitive and best pricing between my suppliers. My event is now published. I will monitor my event and I will begin responding as my supplier. Now that our guided sourcing event is live, we can use the Monitor Event section to gather information about supplier participation, the event duration, and the total item coverage. We can see that 2 suppliers have placed their bids and 2 have not yet viewed the guided sourcing event. If we scroll down to the items that need quotes, we can see the 2 suppliers that have submitted their responses back to the event. We can see the current lowest bid submission for each line item and see the suppliers that are yet to respond. I will now continue responding as the suppliers. We can now see that all 4 suppliers have responded to the event and all items have coverage. If we scroll down, we can see all supplier responses as well as the overall total cost. We can see that 2 suppliers have a much lower overall cost and lower cost per line item for the first round. For that reason, we will eliminate the 2 higher suppliers for the second round, and our second round will only consist of these 2 suppliers here. Now that the first round has run out of time, we can see the scenario summary letting us know the best two suppliers, as well as the overall bid prices for these award scenarios. To initiate a second round for a multi-round bidding event, we would come up to the three dots in the upper right-hand corner and choose Create New Round. Of course, you can always award directly after each round if you would like to not continue a second round. For this, I will create a new round. And to remove a participant or set of participants round to round, we'll slide over to the right, and our two hire suppliers are located here. To eliminate them for the second round, we'll click on the three dots and choose Remove and New Round. This supplier has now been removed, as well as this supplier. We can click Done, and we can add a message if we would like to. I'll create, and the system will now create round two for bidding, in which the two suppliers that are now left remaining will be able to rebid on those prices, ultimately giving us the most competitive pricing available. We can see that our monitor event has now dropped to two invited suppliers, and our suppliers have been removed. Our two remaining can now submit new bids, and I will do that as those suppliers now. Now that the event is completed, we can see that one supplier does have the lowest bid price submission amongst all other suppliers, so they will be our winner for this event. We have award scenarios that are automatically pre-generated with the best bid or best bid with limited number of suppliers, and we also have the ability to create an award scenario based on criteria that we would like to select. Because I will be going with the best bid for this event, I will have best bid automatically selected, and I can scroll up to the top and choose award. When I choose award, I have the ability to confirm the award and ultimately send an email to awarded and non-awarded participants. I'll check the box for both, so all the suppliers will receive an email whether they are the awarded or unawarded participants, and I can choose confirm. The system is now processing for the award, and my winning supplier has been awarded. Thank you for watching this end-to-end demonstration of creating, publishing, and awarding a sourcing event within the guided sourcing user interface of the sourcing solution.